See, that's another thing too. You could purchase legal
Yes,
firearms out here and you can use them for
yes,
your own defense,
yes,
especially where you live places that aren't like California or New York or Chicago or something. Like you can legally purchase these
yes,
guns and you can carry them on you and
yes,
it's perfectly fine.
yes.
I've gotten pulled over many times with firearms in my car and it was cool.
Yeah, that's what we gotta. That's another thing we could definitely gotta harp on, man. Us not taking accountability for shit like that. And I'll be the first one to say it. Like, I didn't even know that you could lawfully have a firearm. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
I didn't know
I
that
was
shit.
I was like 20 years old when I found that out. I was like, "What?
Like, you mean I can
How?"
carry? Like, what?
You I could just buy you. It was. I moved. I had just moved to the south, and some girl had told me about. I'm like, you could just buy a gun like at the
At the
store. What are you talking
store.
about? How?
At the store.
It's
Yeah,
like,
how's that possible?
yeah, she's talking about handguns too. I'm like, what? That's insane. No, you can't.
You damn sure could. And in Houston, you could do somebody in Houston. It's people out there just carrying. Like,
Yeah, so you could. It's the same thing. Like North Carolina's an open carry state. You can just carry that shit on your hip. Fucking Arizona's an open carry state. You can just carry it on your hip. Arizona, you can just go to the gun store, give them your ID, and buy a
that's
gun. Like,
crazy. Now, I want to ask, and we could put this even in the show. Like, in these states, right, that you can open carry and people can see that you have a firearm. I would like to go over some statistics and see if crime is how's crime in those states, right? I would probably bet on the crime being a little lower. I'm not going to just you just got going to knock somebody over the head and take their purse or take somebody's chain if you openly see this guy carrying. So I would say the crime will be down, right? Or I
well,
might be mistaken.
nah, not only that though, because it's certain places like that they have that it's known that people carry their gun, that people just have guns. Like in Texas, in Arizona, you just assume people are armed. So people don't conduct themselves the same way because you don't know
Right,
who might have a gun on them. Like you go to LA, you go to New York, you go to Chicago, where everyone can't just
right,
carry guns. So
right,
you have a pretty good idea of who might have a gun based on how it is that they look or
right.
whatever. But here and all of those other places, you don't. It could be anybody walking around. So people aren't just so cavalier with their running around doing dumb shit like that in those places. And it's the same thing in places that have the castle doctrine. Like you have lower home invasions and burglaries or whatnot because you never know whose door you might kick in and
Right.
just get shot the fuck up, and it's perfectly okay. And you don't want to roll those dice.
Right. So I mean, so I'm for shit like that. If people knew, like, if it was legal just to beat somebody's ass to a bloody pulp, if they disrespect you or they put hands on you or they threaten you, if it was legal to beat somebody to a bloody pulp, then I'm pretty sure that people will, like you said, not all willy nilly just say what they want, do what they want, act like they want. People, and that's a great point. That's a great point. And social, even to social media, right? The reason why people can willy nilly disrespect people and say what they want because there's no ramifications, there's no repercussions to it. I could just disrespect you.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen unless you're an exceptionally crazy person. But like by and large, you could go online, you could threaten people, you could talk shit, you could tell people you want their children to die, you could say whatever it is that you want. And for the most part, nothing's gonna happen to you, especially when you're sitting there behind the safety of the anonymous profile with the nonsense username and all of that. So that's what people do when you take away the fear of repercussions, people kind of just feel that they can act however it is that they want. And that's why lots of places, like they talk about like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, where they cut your hand off
Yeah.
for stealing stuff, but people don't steal there is the thing. Like I say here all the time, and I know that it will probably get fucked up and abused, but like if they shot people for speeding, like if you were caught speeding and they just pulled you over and killed people, they would have to kill like two people before no one would ever speed again,
Right.
just because you don't know. You know what I mean? So like it's an extreme thing that's easily abusable, and I understand that. But in a lot of cases, the fear of certain types of repercussions will prevent you from doing a thing to begin with. And I think that in most places in America, that's kind of lacking because people have you beat someone up for doing something and then now they sue you. So like they kind of feel protected by that, or they can press charges on you even if it's their fault that they got their ass beat. They press charges on you, they call the police, and they know that you'll go to jail. And most people fear that, and most people weaponize that.
Right. Yeah, well, you know how that shit is. So what you're saying, so is life. So is life, or
Such is life. Such is life.
I'm about to steal that shit. Such is life. I'm stealing all J shit. If you hear that shit in the
That's how we
bar,
rock it over here.
yeah, if you hear it in the bar, you know what it is. But
Hey, we getting writing credits over here.
yep.
That's how we doing.
So Jay, let me tell you something.
Yes, sir.
I'm currently on a fasting.
Hey, same. That's what's up.
You too?
Yeah, man. I was partaking in Ramadan. I'm not Muslim or anything, but
I like that.
I'm here for the no food, no water, sun up to sundown.
That's fire.
There's no other stuff too, but I mean, I don't drink, I don't smoke anyway, so I'm not really like fasting from that. I'm just continuing to not do it. But
Right. No, I like that. So, yeah, this is the reason why I'm fasting. I'll be honest with you. Yesterday, I was a piece of shit yesterday. I can own up to it.
yeah, I need that accountability. That's what we about here.
Hey, listen, my daughter's missing a couple snacks. Yes, Autumn, that was me. There's about 6 ice pops missing from the freezer. I mean, it was me.
Damn, 6 ice pops is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, I would do the same thing though if they were just in my freezer.
Yeah,
like that.
You know what? So I'm gonna blame it on you, Autumn. You're the reason I ate them. Because if you would have ate them, it wouldn't have been available to me.
Oh, why you make him do that?
No, it's not your fault. I'm just she's getting emotional. I left you. I left you one.
You're causing a whole other thing over here.
I get you. Yeah, now I got another problem. I'll get you another box. I'm sorry. I'm being honest. CJ, now I got to blame it on you. Fuck this accountability shit. I'm done with it. I'm done with being accountable. It doesn't work.
Repercussions. We don't like that.
Oh, yeah. Now I got to do this. Now when we shut this camera off, I got problems. I'm sorry.
That's what happens when you take responsibility for things.
Yeah. It's more than the ice pops too, but I'm gonna just keep it there.
We will keep it at the ice pops. Partial confessions.
We're gonna keep it there because I'm about to get in trouble. Anywho, that's why I'm fasting, because I was a piece of shit. Ice pops gone, fucking whole bunch of array of snacks missing from the cupboard. No, that does not mean. Now my wife's like, "Oh, can I eat a snack now?" No, that does not. Just because I fuck up, that don't mean you. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the right to mess up.
This is a perfect example, though, why you gotta stay the course. Because when you veer off, other people want to veer off too.
Absolutely. So I gotta be stronger. But I'm taking accountability. I'm gonna fast today, and tomorrow, and I'm gonna do a 3-day. We'll do a 3-day joint. That's how badly it got.
72 hour. Hey, I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's how bad it got. So I gotta heal myself. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So if I get a little antsy to this recording, and I get a little jumpy,
that lack of food.
Yeah, if I call somebody the F word.
Hey, that's
did
what
I just say F word, man? Oh man. Jay. Jay. Anyway. Jay. Anyway.
It's the YouTube overlords, man.
Right. So anyway, let's start it, man. I gotta name the podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
And I was looking at something on not Instagram. Maybe it was X. And I don't know what it was, but I came across this quote by Bruce Lee. You know, the whole water, I am water.
Yep.
You know, be shapeless, be formless, all that shit. You know, Marcus Aurelius said, "What's in the way becomes the way." Right. So that's what I want to name this pod. What's in the way becomes the way. That's why
I like it.
You know, because you'll get what I'm trying to say, right? So I've had every emotion available to a human throughout my lifetime, right? Envy, hate, jealousy, joy, sadness, right? I've dealt with these emotions in various ways. The younger version of myself wasn't too equipped to handle these emotions. The older me, a little bit. But I'm here to tell you that growth does not come with age. That's what I figured out. Growth does not come with age. Wisdom does not come with experience either. I know a lot of people say, experience, wisdom. I don't agree with that, right? And I'll explain. How you handle your emotions will determine how you grow, right? How you observe and analyze your experiences, that will determine your level of wisdom, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right? So, yeah, it's not just the fact you're experiencing something.
Nah, well, because what popped in my head when you said wisdom doesn't come from experience, I thought wisdom comes from reflection on experiences. Absolutely. So yeah, 1000%.
Absolutely. Well, a lot of people they misconstrue. Well, I have all these experiences. I must have wisdom. No, it's how you look at how you look at those experiences and how you observe them and how you learn from them. So if you in your 40s and you throw a tantrum because a female, didn't give you a number, or a male didn't give you a number, whatever.
That's crazy,
right? Yeah, but you're in your 40s. Age hasn't affected your maturity at all, right? So if you experience something, whether good or bad, and you don't observe the lessons in that experience, then there will be no wisdom from that experience. Right.
Facts.
And I did go on to say, and that's where the Bruce Lee quote kind of hit me. Be formless, shapeless like water. You put water in a cup, it becomes a cup. The way, the obstacle in your path, that becomes the way. Right. Your experiences will not shape you, but how you view and observe and learn from those experiences, that will ultimately shape you and grow you, and you'll become the person that you were meant to be if you observe and learn from these experiences. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. That is my opening monologue. And wait, hold on, Jay. You're not gonna give me no fucking gunshots? Like, what are we doing?
Oh, hold up. I forgot I had the gunshot button.
Yeah. We started off with open carry.
That's facts. Yeah, you know what? Hold up. We gotta
we started off the show with
let me get my little button here closer so I remember it.
The trigger. Pull it, get the trigger thing, get that shit ready.
Yeah,
bro.
we got to sit here. We got stuff. Yeah, that's all me.
Well, shoot these motherfuckers.
Catching strays out here. Fuck it. Y'all getting all the gunshots now because I forgot it was there, so we making it up. So y'all listen to gunshots throughout this whole fucking pod.
Yes, man. Yes. And look, basically, man, y'all motherfuckers need to grow up. And I hate words I hate phrases like emotionally stable and all this other bullshit and mental fucking, all this mental peace and mental stability and mental health. 2 words that they put together just to sell you shit. Because that's all this shit is, right, Jay? They put 2 words together that sounds, and if you go against these 2 words, you sound like an asshole. Fuck mental health. It's like, how could you?
Now you sound like a dick.
You sound like a, right?
Man.
Fuck that shit, man.
All right, so we go gunshot that, and then I'm going to pre-gunshot what I'm about to say because this is what I'm here for. So here's the thing. In reference to specifically the last thing, people are so fucking gullible with stuff. Like, all they do is take random, completely normal feelings and label them as some sort of disorder that you need medication for. Can you only focus on the things that you like? You have ADD. No, you don't. You just don't know how to be bored. That's fucking insane. Like the idea that you not being able to focus on things that you don't like is some sort of disorder is nonsensical. The fact that you believe that you're sad, so something is wrong with you, is nonsensical. Go make yourself happy. The fact that you have anxiety just means that you have something coming up that you're unprepared for. Go get prepared for it. This is not something being wrong with you other than what it is that you have made wrong with you. You don't need pills. You need to better yourself. And that applies to all of these things. But again, they make it this buzzword. It's mental health awareness, and they spread it all over where people just adopt it because people are very, very suggestible about stuff. I saw, it's like a study from mad long ago about how the more that people reported on anorexia, the more people became anorexic.
Yeah.
So it's like hear about a thing and then they're like, oh, this thing must be me. Yeah. You saw the same thing with the so-called pandemic. They got on the news and said, there's a sickness, you don't know if you have it or not, you have to get tested. So everybody flooded the hospital. And then they said, well, the hospitals are full, so clearly there's something going on. No, it's not. You just said a thing. People are very gullible and they all went to go see if they had it. This is very, very basic observational skills will tell you this. This isn't some sort of conspiracy. This is 1 + 1 = 2. But back to the previous thing, I completely agree with that as a concept that just because you're old, it doesn't mean that you know anything. Like you're taught when you're a child that adults are smart. Like as a kid, you think that adults just know shit because they're grown. And then you get older, and if you're somebody who is any degree of observant or intelligent yourself, you'll realize that the vast majority of people are grown but stupid as shit. So just because you turn 40, just because you turn 50, just because you turn 30, it doesn't mean you get some sort of new wisdom. And just like you said, just because you've gone through a bunch of things, it doesn't mean that you've learned and grown from them. Like there are some people who have crazy experiences over and over again in their life. They experience all sorts of far out wild shit and they learn absolutely nothing because they don't reflect on it and they don't take anything away from it. They're either stuck in their victim mentality of, oh, woe is me, poor me, this took place, it should have been better, X, Y, and Z, or they want to blame everyone else for what it is that happened. So they've robbed themselves of the opportunity to learn the lessons that will help them go forth in life. Like when you have bad shit that happens during your childhood, this is something that could give you strength, or this is something that you can use as an excuse for the rest of your life. Most people choose the latter, but if you take a different look at it, you'll see, regardless of what it is that happened, you made it through. And that's a sign that you're strong, both physically in some sense and mentally. And that should give you courage and the knowledge to know that you have the ability to overcome something as it comes up, and you take that and you use it for the next thing that you go through. And you think, like I hear people all the time talk about, you don't understand how difficult my childhood was because I was molested or something. Okay, fine, I get it. That's unfortunate. But I assure you that going to the gym every day isn't harder than being molested. So why can't you go to the gym? I assure you that any of the work that you need to do to accomplish whatever goals you might have is not harder than having to deal with the memories of being molested. So why can't you do this work? Why is it this should set a bar for you? The worse that it was, the easier everything that you should be. Like people talk about, well, you went to war. Yeah, okay, cool. All of your friends got blown up. You were over there shooting children and bombing buildings. That sucks. I get it. But that's much harder than anything else that you could possibly do in life. So why are you struggling to accomplish basic shit? But it's because, again, people don't look at it, people don't reflect it, people don't see it that way because they just want to hear the, oh no, everything is so sad and I deserved better and nobody should have to see this or experience this sort of shit. So they feel sorry for themselves, rather realizing these things are the blessings, because there is no sort of growth, there is no sort of strength without adversity and struggle. Like even going to the gym, you're putting weight on your back, you're putting weight on whatever the case may be, you're tearing your muscle fibers and they are regrowing back stronger. That's a form of trauma that you are applying to yourself. You learn how to fight from being punched in the face and assessing the situation that happened. That's why fighters watch their tapes, football teams and whatever watch their game tapes to figure out what it is that they did wrong so they could figure out what to do right. That's what stress testing is. Life is just stress testing you when it's giving you difficult situations or it's giving you obstacles. And all of these things, again, can be a catalyst for growth and expansion if you choose to reflect upon them and actually learn from them rather than just crying about them and hoping things could be better. But again, that's why so many people go through so many things. Like I'll say the stuff about the traumatic experiences all of the time. There's always someone who's popped up like, I've experienced this, and this, and my life is still terrible. Well, that's because you're an idiot. You didn't learn from everything. You just want to sit there and pout about it. That's never going to do anything for you.
So yeah. So to add on that, and you could chime in also, I would say most of these experiences that you just named, going to war, especially stuff like going to war, going to prison, I would think that gives you a distinct advantage if you look at it like that. That's how I look at things. A motherfucker survived war like an old soldier. You know what they say about an old soldier. You feel me? Like, so he had to be an old soldier is and we've discussed this before. Like, if you survived all of this, the trials and tribulations, what did it take? What type of person would it take to survive these things, right? And then what type of person can you take those same attributes that it took to survive the war? Could you take those same attributes and survive or become successful in life? I would think you have a distinct advantage over everyone else who hasn't been to war or to prison or molested, or, you know, it's harsh to say, but you have to use these things as an advantage, or think of it as an advantage. I was just talking to my wife about this. Like, yo, the fact that all the hardships that we go through prepares us for the hardships that's coming along. So you have an advantage. Take advantage. It's called an advantage for a reason. Only if you look at it like that. Or you can look at it as a disadvantage. But how does that help the situation?
It doesn't at all, and that's the thing. Like, people say exactly that. Like, it sounds harsh, like you don't understand what it was like to be sexually abused as a child. Okay, fine, maybe not. But the point is, no matter what you do, this happened. There's nothing that you could do to change that. There's nothing that you could do to make this not have taken place. All you have left is how you view it. So why not view it positively? If you have to view it no matter what, you can attach whatever label you would like to things. And again, this is a thing that you made it through. All of these things are things that you have made it through. And you look at it as it happened to you, not that it happened for you, but Batman's superpower is trauma. He's only Batman because he watched his parents get murdered. You take that away and he's just a rich guy with a cave in his house, maybe, but for weird reasons now. So every single superhero story that you watch is them having some sort of traumatic experience and that propelling them to go off doing stuff. Spider-Man is fucking running around Spider-Maning because his uncle got murdered in a robbery that he failed to help prevent, or whatever the case may be. Superman's entire planet got blown up, and that's why he's now on Earth with his superpowers, Supermaning, and whatever it is that he does.
They're telling you right there.
Take these experiences and make something of yourself. It's not, you can, it's the exact same thing that people sit there crying about, is the same thing that someone else looks at and says, I'm thankful that happened because that's what led me to getting to be where it is that I am. It's the same people who say, well, I was poor as a child and that's why their life sucks now. And the other people will say, I was poor as a child and that's what inspired me to make sure that I was never struggling for anything. Yep. There's the people who say, well, my parents drunk and that's the reason that I'm an alcoholic now. And there are people who say that my parents drunk and that's the reason that I've decided to stay sober and clear-headed because I saw what that led to. I didn't want to go through it. So it's all in what it is that you make of it. Nothing is factually anything. I said a thing the other day too about trauma. Some soldier dude responded and said that whenever you go into the army, it seems like they're preparing you to be traumatized after it. And I saw all of this and I'm thankful that I did because it made me stronger. Like, none of these things are blanketly things. Just because some people suffer from it, it doesn't mean that that's what has to happen. And I'm a big believer that any degree of suffering is a choice. Like, something happened, you get to choose how it is that you view it. If it helps you or haunts you is all in your perspective. You have full control over your perspective. You don't control the event, but you control how it is that you view the event. So if you're running around all fucked up and whatnot, that's on you, and that's because you're choosing to look at it wrong. You can shift your perspective on it. People love to say it's not that easy and you got to do all this healing work. But at the end of the day, even if you go do all your stupid little shadow work or you sit down with the therapist, at the end of the day, all that your so-called healing is just learning to look at the event differently. You could do that from the very beginning. Yep. You can stop labeling it bad now and start labeling it as good. You can view it however it is that you want to. That's all that this healing stuff is. You can save yourself all of this time and just do the thing.
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff is tough because you can apply that to, you have to apply that to the hardest things in life, right? Death, because these are the things that's inevitable, right? You can't escape. So the things you can't escape, these are the things you have to turn around. You have to have a different outlook on the things that you can't escape from. And hardships and disappointments and failure and death and taxes and getting up to work. And you can't, there's no avoiding it, man. There's no avoiding it. Well, maybe taxes. That's another discussion.
Some people do that.
Yeah. Well, that's another discussion. But anyway, like I said, you can't avoid these, certain things. So you might as well have a positive outlook on certain hardships or all hardships and use them.
All hardships.
All of them.
That's the thing. People like to make and find an exception, but at the end of the day, you're not truly a positive person until you're positive in the most negative situations. Once you introduce an exception, you're killing the rule. If you're a positive person, then you're a positive person when something good happens, or you're a positive person when you walk outside, get shot, arrested, and all of your money stolen at the exact same time. If you can't put a positive spin on that, you're not a positive person. That's how it is. It's like if you're willing to steal when you're poor, you're a thief, period. You just haven't met the necessary circumstances in order to unlock your thievery. So you're not anything until you're that in all of the situations. You can call yourself positive all that you want to, but when you start making the exception because you got diagnosed with cancer, no, you're not a positive person. That's not the exception. You could put a positive spin on your cancer. You could get your leg cut off and put a positive spin on it because being negative isn't going to regrow your fucking leg. So you might as well be happy about it because why be legless and sad?
Right. You see LeVar Ball. I don't know if you know LeVar, the father.
I'm familiar with the family.
Yeah. Well, he got his leg amputated, and he out there smiling and just the same dude, and like, man, look, this is what it is. I didn't take care of myself. Y'all make sure y'all take care of yourself. That's it. He's smiling, happy.
Then you will get your leg cut off.
Right. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, see, I have a great understanding of people. At least I would like to think so. Well, I know so. And for what I know I do. And for what I see of people is, I tell my wife, man, we were just talking about this shit. I'm like, yo, listen, if somebody feels like shit, they're not going to be truly happy for you. They can't. I don't care what nobody. They could lie. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Those are just words. They don't feel, and I don't, and me putting myself in their shoes, I know that, and I'm okay with that. Because if my life is shit, and I look at your life and you're fucking on Instagram or you're just flaunting vacations, and I'm not happy for you, man. I'm not.
Fact.
I'm a human. Now, what you do with that emotion is how I look at you. Not that you had the emotion, jealousy. Like, all right, everybody get jealous, or hatred. Everybody hates. It's what you do with that shit is what ultimately is how I judge you. Now, if you hate and then you try to do something to take what I have or obtain what I have, or you vocally go out and try to, destroy my character or whatever the case may be, that's not a good or productive way to use that hate. So I'm not mad at the fact you hate it. I'm mad at the fact that what you did with that hate or that jealousy or that love, whatever emotion you have. So I had this discussion today. That's what made me bring this up. It's like, yo, I'm not mad at your life is shitty. I would feel like you. Nah, for real, Jay. Wouldn't you? Like, we've been there. Like,
That's a fact, though.
I'm only saying that because I've been there. Like, my life has been shit for most of my fucking life. So it's like I get it. But now, what do you do with these emotions? Like, yo, damn, I see this. Let's say put myself. Let's make it personal. I put myself in a situation. I'm a aspiring rapper. I'm trying to rap, and I see other rappers getting accolades and money, or what it appears to be success. I'm like, man, I want that. I'm not happy. I want what he got. But guess what I have to do? I have to use that emotion and I have to work towards whatever I'm trying to get. Now, me just sitting back and, oh man, fuck man. That's the wrong use of these emotions. And that's why I bring shit up like this, is to get people to realize you're not a bad person because you have these emotions. Right? You're a fucked up person. It's what you do with these emotions. That's what you're going to get judged by, at least by me. So I understand, this goes for everybody. If you cross my path, I understand what you're going through. I understand that if either you're jealous, or I understand why you make comments. I understand why you insult people in comments, or what. I get it, but that's the wrong energy to have. You should have these feelings. You should take those same feelings and apply it to energy that's spent on hard work and dedication and consistency. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. People have this weird thing that these certain emotions or feelings are bad things, like envy, for example. Envy in and of itself is not a bad thing. What you do with it is what makes it bad. But there have been many times that I have looked at someone in a much better position and thought, man, I fucking wish that was me. I wish I had X, I wish I had Y, I wish I had Z, I wish I had a regular ass place to live. I wish I had a regular ass car to drive. And I would be so annoyed that they had these things and I did not have these things. But what I did not do was then sit there and try and talk shit about them or try and tear down what it is that they are doing. I thought, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And the way to stop feeling like this is not like some people will go and think the way to not feel like this is to discredit them so you don't have anything to be envious of. I thought the way to stop feeling like this is to put myself in that position so I don't have anything to be envious of. So I'm mad that this person has a house and I don't, so I'm going to go figure out how to get a fucking house. This person has a car and I don't, I'm going to figure out how to get a fucking car. This person has money and I don't, I'm going to figure out how to go get fucking money. And that's what envy or any of this stuff, when you apply it properly, could do for you. It's the same thing like people have where you should never feel shame. That's not true. As a whole, you don't want to feel shame, but you need to feel shame sometimes, because that shame is what is going to drive you to change, because you don't want to look in the mirror every single day and be ashamed of yourself, whether that's because you're fat or poor or just a shitty ass person in general. Like there needs to be a level of shame so that you feel a certain shame when you do things that you aren't supposed to do. If you're a liar, you should feel ashamed of the fact you're a fucking liar. If you're a cheater, you should feel ashamed of the fact you're a fucking cheater. If you're a fat ass, if you're a procrastinator, if you're lazy as shit, if you're any of these things, you should feel fucking ashamed of that. And that should cause you to change. And when you get jealous of what it is that other people's doing, that should inspire you to put yourself into a position that you no longer have to be jealous of them. It's all of these emotions are natural things. Like, even people have this thing with fear, right? And how fear holds them back. And I personally am a big believer that people look at it completely wrong. Like, if you're afraid of rejection, for example, people are like, well, how do I overcome my fear of rejection? You don't, because you could overcome your fear of rejection and then still get rejected all of the time because you still suck. That's not better. It's just different. But if you take your fear of rejection and use that to motivate you to become somebody who no one in their right mind would reject, then that has benefited you now. You're still afraid of rejection, but now it's very unlikely that you will ever be rejected because you wanted to go out of your way to make sure that you were so fucking extraordinary that no one in their right mind would say no to you. It's all of these same things. The fear of, if you're afraid of failure, then you make yourself into somebody super fucking awesome who's super fucking capable. I mean, you're still going to fail anyway, but you still made yourself along the way because of your fear. You've made yourself into somebody who will fail much less than other people because of that fear. Like, you don't have to get rid of these things. You just have to learn how to use what it is that you have to your advantage. You don't need to not have any negative emotions. You just need to use them properly. It's okay to be sad about stuff, but you need to use your sadness should inspire you to figure out how to not be sad. Like, thing wise, you're still going to be sad sometimes, obviously, but as a whole, you don't want to feel this way. Cool. What did you do to make yourself feel this way? Fix it now. If you're angry, this should propel you to accomplish whatever it is, so you don't have to deal with all of this. Like, all of these emotions, if you use them properly, can be to your own benefit. It's not just, oh, you shouldn't feel this way just because. That's fucking stupid.
It's not a
you should do something about it. Exactly. And to what you said before, I do absolutely agree that miserable people can never be happy for you. That's just, it's not possible.
Never.
Because you can never truly want for somebody for something that you don't have in and of yourself. And if you're a miserable person, it's not specifically because your life sucks. It's because of your view about your life. And that view that you have about your life is going to prevent you from ever truly being able to applaud another. Because part of the reason that anyone views their life in a negative manner is because they blame other people for it. So you can't sit there and think that other people are responsible for your shitty situation while truly wishing that other people be in some sort of amazing situation. That's a form of selflessness, and miserable people can't be selfless.
Absolutely. And I'm sorry to break it to you. So if you have friends that's not doing so well, and they wish you luck, or they give you a pat on the back, they don't mean it. Sorry. I'm here to break it to you.
They do not.
They do not mean it. They can't mean it. It's impossible. So you'll try to debate this and, oh no, that's not me. Yeah, whatever, man.
It is.
It is you. And it's okay that it's you. Okay? Like, dog, it's okay. I'm here to tell you, and I'm telling you, look, if you're a successful person and you got a friend that's not doing so well, life is in a shitter, and they tell you, man, at least you're doing well. I'm proud of you.
Hate. That's hate.
And you look at them and like, next time just say, no, you're not. And it's okay. I understand. No, just don't lie to me. Let's try to come up with some ways to maybe improve your situation. Instead of just, I don't like wasting time. So that shit to me is just a waste of time, especially if we real friends. That don't mean we're not real friends because you have these feelings. I mean, if you let these things fester, it can turn into an enemy type thing, right? When you let these situations fester and not tell the truth, it turns into a festering hate, a festering jealousy. If you just let these things fester, if you just nip them in the bud, like you're not happy for me. You know why I know you're not happy for me? Because your life is shitty. So
yeah, you're not even happy for you.
You're not even happy for yourself. How the fuck you can be happy for me? You know what we should do? Let's try to help you out. Let's think of some ways to get your life together, so we could be real friends and not lie to each other every day. Hey man, at least you're doing your thing, man. You know, I'm just, man. Listen, fuck all that.
Maintaining.
Yo, you know, I'm maintaining. You know, I'm gonna get there. Like fuck all that.
Trying to get like you.
Yeah, all that shit. Let's just cut that shit out. Let's just eliminate that step if we can and get to the real problems. Yo, listen, you're not happy for me. What can we do to get your life better so that we can be on the same level? Because no one hates down. No one has jealousy downwards.
Period.
It just can't happen. Like, Jay-Z is not going to be jealous of fucking Joe Schmo rapper on the corner. He can't. It's impossible.
That would be insanity.
It's impossible. He just can't. He can't just, you know, if let's just say it might be a situation where he thinks he might not be able to rap better, or there's some nuance, you know, that's different. But I'm talking about as far as finances and life and how his life is going. Let's just take rap aside. Jay-Z cannot hate on somebody that's not doing as good. You can't hate down. You don't hate down. The person, I can't even fathom a person that's being able to hate downward. Man, look at this. Man, you walking past a homeless man, man. Look at this motherfucker, man. This motherfucker stink as hell, man. Fuck him right there. Like, no, that's
sleeping on the street.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Look at him sleeping on the street, man. Like that doesn't even make sense, right? And I'm not saying that it can't happen. Oh, well, I know some dude. I'm talking about the majority. the majority of
No,
people.
it does though, but you have to think about what does that say about the person who's walking
Right,
up the street talking shit about the
right,
homeless man?
right.
Like, what do you feel about yourself?
Self.
Because at the end of the day, like people people have this thing where they're worried about people talking about them, right? But you also have to realize that anybody talking negatively about you is also an admission of the fact that they believe that you're better than them, because that's
Yeah,
why they're talking about you.
yeah, yeah.
If they're the manager at the McDonald's isn't jealous of the fucking cashier, that's insane. Now he might think that that person looks better than him or something along those lines, but I'm talking about like life status wise. So when people are sitting there trying to tear you down, it's because they believe that you are better than them. That's the only way you can even tear something down, from the bottom.
From the bottom. Great point. Great point. But so
That's how it works.
And I'm of the mindset. Well, we ain't gonna harp on this too long, but it is interesting. But I'm of the mindset that you have to be hard on yourself. And again, I was talking to my wife about this. You can't be easy on yourself. You are not going to reach your full potential if you're easy on yourself. Whatever the goals may be, it could be. Let's just use your shape, how you want to, you want to be in better shape. You can't look in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm all right, I'm cool, I'm good, I'm cool. That's not going to get you to your goal. You have to be extremely hard on yourself. Like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. And also, if you have a friend or a partner that's not hard on you, that's not going to work either. Right? I don't want a friend that's going to tell me, nah, you good. That shit is all right. You good. Like, damn, look, you all right. Like, nah, I don't want that. I heard this quote before. I forgot who said it. I forgot the dude's name, but he was like, if I aspire for $100 million and I tell my friend I want $100 million, and he said, nah, man, you'll be good with 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you get rid of that friend. Immediately. Right? So you have to be, I'm of that mindset. You have to be, I'm extremely hard on myself not because I hate myself. It's because I want the best for myself.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do.
So that
like,
yeah.
I'm of the belief that if you tell your friend that you want $100 million and he should say, why not $1 billion?
Right.
Not you be okay with this.
That's the friend you want.
You need to be around motherfuckers that's going to lift you up, that's going to push you to do more, and you got to do the same for yourself. Like, it's the same thing. People have this concept that self-love is just accepting yourself no matter what. No, it's not. That is self-hatred. Like, if I just accept whatever it is that I do, then I would eat like shit. I would be fucking smoking all day. I'd be sleeping in. If all of it was okay and I was just going to accept it, I wouldn't do what's best for myself. But the reason that I'm hard on myself and I look at myself and be like, oh, you're not shit, you're not doing this, you got to do this, you got to do all of this, is because I want myself to be better, because I give a fuck about myself. I give a fuck about what I do, and I give a fuck about the outcomes that I get. And I can't believe that certain things are okay, because that would allow me to do these things. Like, if I the reason that I'm not fat is because I think that I would be a failure of a person if I was fat. I would hate myself if I was fat, so I don't allow myself to do it. And I would look at myself every day and I would hate myself and I would say all kinds of fucked up shit to myself and I would insult myself day in and day out. And I don't want to experience that. And the reason that I would talk to myself that way is because I love myself. If I slept in every day, I would feel like I was a fucking loser and I would talk shit to myself all day, every day. No, it's not okay that you did this once. No, it's not okay that you were still tired. Who gives a fuck how it is that you feel? Get the fuck up and do what the fuck it is that you need to do, bitch. Like, that's the type of shit that you need to look at if you actually want to do something. But people want to give themselves these little passes and pat themselves on the back for trying. But at the end of the day, nobody cares that you tried. People care what it is that you did. Nobody cares what your best is if your best is not good enough. If you set out to run a marathon and you run 22 miles, maybe that's the best that you've ever ran. But a marathon is 26 miles, which means you have failed, my friend. Your best meant nothing when it came down to it. So you have to push yourself and fuck all of that. Well, you tried your best or you didn't know. Who cares? Did you do what it takes or not. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. You're not going to be in shape if you just do your best, and your best isn't enough to get you in shape. You're not going to make money if you did your best and your best isn't enough to make money. You have to get used to doing what it is that is necessary. And all of this little pat on the back, it's okay, you tried hard, at least you did it shit, is going to ultimately prevent you from going farther and pushing yourself harder. Like you should have very positive, negative self-talk. Right. I insult myself all of the time in a positive direction.
All the time. But
and that's what inspires me, because I don't want to hear myself talk to myself like that.
Absolutely. Especially
I don't want to say these things to myself.
Especially when no one else is going to do it for you. You got to become that person that friend to yourself, because you love yourself. All right. But
exactly.
Yeah. We digress, right? I wanted to ask you something.
Yep.
So, we texted this before, but is too much information a bad thing, right? And I know I texted this to you earlier, and I truly pondered this today. Like, so, when there is information in abundance, it's hard to focus on what the piece of info that's going to directly affect you. It's hard to pinpoint that, right? So if I threw at you, there'll be a tidal wave in India, plane crash in Ohio, tranny crip walking, a fucking earthquake in Indonesia, fucking a rapper killing 3 people. If I threw all of that at you on a Tuesday afternoon, I may be able to sneak in an occasional vaccine death, an occasional surveillance act bill, or whatever the case may be. I may be able to sneak in some shit. But who knows when there's so much information flying at you, right? And all of it is an extreme of whatever it may be. Like, if it's a killing, it's the most extreme killing. If it's not just a moderately famous person, it's the most famous person. Or it's not just, it's a plane crash. It's not just a little engine going. It's a fucking, oh my God, catastrophe, right? They're numbing you, and then they're slipping something in there. So I asked you, and this leads to a further question, but do you think there's too much information out there? And is it a distraction? Of course, I believe it is a distraction, but if so, how is it distracting?
So you did text me this earlier, and I didn't even think about this till just now. But I remember a few years ago, probably several years ago, I saw people talking about how the 24-hour news cycle has shortened people's attention spans and all of that. And they were chalking it up to the thing of the rise of social media and like how you have the infinite news channels on TV now, and just kind of a function of more media. But now, listening to what it was that you were saying, which I do completely agree with, that too much information is a distraction, it makes me think that the 24-hour news cycle was not really a byproduct of something, but something that was intentionally orchestrated so that you can just constantly flood people with bits and pieces of information. And at a certain point, any individual one of them becomes very difficult to keep up with. Or even if they do throw something in there that will outrage people, there will be a new thing immediately after that, because you're just flooded with so much stuff. Except, interestingly enough, when they want you to focus on one thing, like during the pandemic, that was all that was on the news, period.
Right.
No other news stories got reported anywhere at all. Right. When the George Floyd Black Lives Matter stuff was happening, that's all that was on the news, period. Nothing else got reported at all.
Right.
And this COVID got set aside for that, because it was straight COVID, Black Lives Matter, right? So when they want you to focus on something, they remove all of the extra bits and pieces of information, because they know that all of that extra stuff is distracting you from what it is that they want you to think about. So just going off of that with my hypothesizing here is that anything that is focused on for too long of a period of time on the news, you should be extremely skeptical of.
There you go, Yoda.
Paused every single other thing to highlight this right here. We want you to focus on this. And if they want you to focus on it, it's not for your own good whatsoever. It never has been. But that's my little side tangent here of what it is that this made me think about.
You're cooking right now. You're cooking. Go.
The flooding of all of these little individual things, it keeps you from being able to focus on anything, right? Like if you have an argument with your girl or something, and it's one topic. She saw a text message, but then it's a whole bunch of other stuff that she finds out too. You've been lying about X, Y, and Z, and you've secretly been going to these other places. And also she thought that you used to be a teacher, but you were a drug dealer. And also she found out you've been to jail a bunch of times. And then she finds a secret gun closet in the thing. Then all of a sudden it's like,
what's the problem? Where am I mad? What am I mad about?
And see, that's when you wind up in the situation. Like, you ever see Power? Yeah. Like fucking Angela and Ghost, where she's like, okay, fuck all of the individual things. How do I feel about him as a person? Right. That's where you wind up in that, when you have all of this flood of all of this crazy shit going on. Because if you think, right, if you look at the news for the past little bit, they talked about it was aliens and Trump got shot, and there's so much stuff going, disappearing airlines, and then it's several wars going on concurrently that you can only focus on bits and pieces of. Fucking Hunter Biden's laptop and Andrew Tate getting arrested, and Jeffrey Epstein and fucking Candace Owens is Hitler, and just so much stuff going on, and none of it you get to focus on for more than like 10 seconds at a time.
Except what they, like you said, except when they want you to.
What they want you to focus on. Then everything gets paused, and that's highlighted. That's talked about nonstop on all of the different things, constantly 24/7. Which was, they paused everything whenever Trump was getting indicted for all of his, when he got charged with all of his felonies. That was a huge thing, and then everything else resumed, right? So you get bits and pieces of the war, you get bits and pieces of Epstein, you get bits and pieces of all of this other stuff. They recently released the JFK documents, when they barely got any coverage other than a little thing, because they don't want you to focus on these things. So, but they're smart, and they know that you will only give as much attention to something as they give to it, because they've conditioned themselves as not tastemaker, that's not really the right word for news, but as the narrative holders or whatever. If you people just naturally assume, well, they barely talked about this, so we're barely going to think about it.
Right. But it must not be important. It must not be important if they don't
talking about it all of the time. Right. Yeah, so that's why they have all of this stuff, and it's even still, if you go back and you look at the stuff that's constantly been in the news cycle, right? Like the DEI shit, but they barely highlighted Trump getting rid of it, but they were all here for talking about it the whole entire time. They didn't talk about the eradication of all of these weird little gender laws, but the focus on the little gender stuff has been there for forever. You would think that would be important too, but they don't want you to focus on that. They want you to focus on the stuff. So that shit is absolutely insane. And yeah, man, whatever it is that they've got you focusing on, you should be very skeptical of.
That's a great point.
All of the narratives that have been carried over for years, the climate change stuff has been carried for years. This economy stuff has been carried for years. The fucking letter squad people have been carried over for years. This abortion stuff.
I was just about to say abortion. How long are they going to talk about that? Stuff. How long? Like
all of the stuff that's a repeating cycle is stuff that you need to be skeptical about.
Right.
All of it.
That's a great point, and I'm glad that I'm glad my question brought that point out, because I've never thought of it like that. You're right. If they focus in and hone in on one specific thing, that's what you should be highly skeptical about. You are absolutely correct. So. And I just had to ask that before we go into the next, the next thing I asked you. And it's about people destroying Tesla and Elon being a Nazi now. And I have a whole different, I don't have much to say about, I don't have much to say or add, but I find it weird that people still think that destroying things will make a difference, or someone will care enough to change anything because you destroyed or set fire to a couple of meaningless things that you think that this person who has like 50 million, $100 billion is really going to be affected, or you called him a Nazi and he's supposed to be like, oh well, damn, I'm not a Nazi. Don't call me that. Yeah, like you don't have as much power as you think you do. I don't know why people go around destroying shit and thinking that's going to make a difference. But I asked you because you wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. So please inform me. Why do you think these people are just going around spray painting Teslas and blowing Teslas up and all this bullshit?
Well, because they're fucking idiots. But
Yeah.
as a whole, the part that there was a couple things that I found interesting about it as a whole, right? And it's, you see these people online all of the time having these vast, in-depth opinions about the economy and how it works and how rich people's money works and how things should be spent and allocated throughout the country and society and governmentally and all of that. But then they go off and display their vast ignorance to how anything actually works by going and doing something like this to harm Elon Musk. Like, first and foremost, he doesn't personally own those vehicles.
Yeah.
You destroying cars that other people have purchased will not affect him in any sort of way. That is an insane thing to believe. Secondly, these are private citizens whose cars that you're destroying. This isn't doing anything to him. And the fact that so many people have such an insane misunderstanding of what it is that affects what just goes to show why they don't get to have any say in anything. And not only that, but why they're struggling the way that they're struggling in life. Like I'm not a fucking economist. I'm not a business expert. I'm not any of these. But I have the common sense to understand that if I go to Target and I buy a bunch of Hanes t-shirts and then light them on fire, that doesn't affect Hanes. Hanes doesn't lose any money from that. First and foremost, these t-shirts are already sold. That's ridiculous. And secondly, the amount of money the amount of shirts that I would actually have to, or that's actually going to cost them, is nothing. This is a negligible thing. Mm-hmm. Secondly, the idea that you don't like what this person stands for, so you're going to go out and destroy stuff, is a second reason that none of these people have any sort of power or say in anything. Because all you're doing is saying, when things don't go our way, we are going to throw temper tantrums in hopes that you will change it. This is not anything actually productive. This is no different than your girlfriend getting mad at you and start slamming plates on the floor in the kitchen because she's upset at something that you did and or thought. Like, this is not the way to handle anything. This is childish, and this is fucking barbaric.
I want to ask you though. I was just me thinking. The skeptic in me, or this cynical part of me. Who is they, man? Who's really doing this shit, man? Like, I find it hard to believe that a couple of yahoos run around spray paint. Like, who's really doing this shit? Like, is there people? I mean, I'm sure there's idiots out there that's like, is this real? Like,
I don't think, I doubt that it's as widespread as they're reporting.
I don't know, man.
Like, it's probably like 8 people did this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they like, I don't know, man. Like to me, this is just another distraction. To me, I don't believe, like you said, it's probably like 8 people running around did this shit, and they. Just like with the BLM shit and the riots and shit, and they were saying like people was going in the riots and trying inciting inside the riots, inciting certain things that was planted there to do certain things. Mm-hmm. It's like, are people really wasting their time going out and doing this shit? I don't know, bro. I don't know. Are they just cooking this shit up, man? That's me, the way I think. Like, I don't know, man. I know people are idiots, but I don't know, man. I just don't know. I got to look at this as a side, because you know what? Even with Elon, right? And I follow Elon on X, and like I said, I've been watching him closely. We've talked about this. That old twinkle in his eye and shit. We've talked about that twinkle in his eye, and I see him doing like so I see that he got Trump to exercise and or execute an order of cutting U.S. aid to South Africa. Discrimination of white farmers. I don't know if you looked into that. And I didn't do it.
I saw something about that.
Yeah, I didn't do too much research on it, but I know I need to. But I seen a couple of quotes and I was like, what? White South Africans victims. No, quote, victims of unjust racial discrimination. And it's like phrases like that. And I'm like, wait, what? Wait, I'm supposed to feel sorry? Like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I gotta, like I said, like, and the whole Tesla thing, are they trying to throw a curveball? So you look this way, the old 52 fake out, look this way, this way, and no aid. So there's aid to Israel, but not this. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not highly versed in political shit like that, but I do have common sense, right? So I know when somebody's doing the whole 52 fake out. So I do, and I am a skeptic. If you show me one thing, I'm always looking behind the curtain to see if you got something up your sleeve, right? Because I know if you're showing me something, you're showing me for a reason. You have a motive. I only know your business is because you let me know your business. Right. So I'm always going to look behind the curtain. And that's what we do here. Game within the game. We try to see, what's that ace up your sleeve there? You know, you've seen the movie Life, right? Mm-hmm. When old Ray Gibson was at the table and the waitress had the aces and shit under her. You know, he grabbed her arm and he said, "Hello, wait. What the fuck is going on?" And then the bartender said, he said, "Where that waitress?" And what waitress? He said, "The first bitch I start choking." That waitress. That was hilarious to me. So I said, but I'm just saying, like, there's always a card up these people's sleeves that they're holding back, and it makes you say, man, the first motherfucker I start choking. Like, y'all not gonna fool me, man. So I wanted to get your view on how maybe I look at things, skeptical. So even with the Tesla situation, like, yeah, there's a couple of yahoos out there, but is it really that? Is it really that? And I brought this. I asked you this about the transgender stuff and this being a vocal point. I'm like, is it really a vocal point? Because I don't really come across these fucking crazy people that I see online. I don't see them in real life. So is this something they want us to focus on? And they pulling a 52 fake out, or is this something we should really be worried about? Fucking Teslas and people with this certain mindset.
So, I think that again, as we talked about last episode, the fucking media, Jesus Christ, the media skews very heavily to the left, right? So none of them like Elon and all of them that he got going on. So I think that they probably took what a couple, I don't know how many people did. I have seen some videos of Teslas being vandalized and all of that. I don't know how many it actually is. Right. But I think they took what a few people did and made it seem like it's a widespread thing that people are just rising up against the tyranny of Elon Musk trying to make the government spend less money.
Word.
So we're sitting there acting like all of this shit, and I don't know, man. It's people are just so easily manipulated with all of this stuff. It's like the stuff that they hate, the stuff that they go against, and they're just riled up by all of this stuff. They're swearing that he's a fucking Nazi now all of a sudden, and you know, if we're just gonna sit here and go and just touch back on what it is that we said earlier, then the things that they want you to focus on and the things that they want you to believe are the things that you should question. Mm-hmm. And we talked about the things that have been repeated narratives through the past, few years or so. But that makes me go back and think about the things that have been repeated narratives throughout time that you're not allowed to question, period. Now, I'm not sitting here taking any specific stance on anything as a whole, but like, people always turn to this Hitler World War II thing, right? And there's always been like this one specific narrative of it that no one is allowed to question. And my mind says that means that it's probably not really true, right, or what it is that actually took place. Right. Because It's I don't know. It's just the stuff that you look back on that you think that this has always been this has always been said and accepted as this, but everything else has been such a fucking lie and such a distraction that makes me think this probably isn't true either. I'm not saying what is true. I'm not saying what actually happened. I'm just saying that probably what they said happened, it didn't happen.
I agree. I mean, like, especially with, with stuff like wars and shit like that. It's like the same person, the same person who make the bullets makes the band-aids, and everyone profits, right? So it's like I don't, I don't see how people don't see things like this. I question everything, especially like I
Yeah,
said,
it's the
if if it's the same person making the band-aids and the bullets, I'm going to question everything.
you got to question what's going on there. It's like back in the day, it's like Philip Morris and all them tobacco companies were the ones producing the Truth commercials.
Yes.
In black and white, depressing ass one with the orange logo with people smoking out the hole in their neck.
Yeah.
It's like you're selling the cigarettes. That's nuts that you're doing this too, though. But these things apply in across the board. Like when you sit there and you understand certain things, right? Like if you look at the existence of a military industrial complex, they deal in war. So war is profitable, so therefore wars are going to always be taking place. If you look at the medical industry, the medical industry deals in sickness.
I was going to say that.
Not in health.
Yeah.
It deals,
I was going to say that. Same concept.
They deal in sickness.
Yeah.
So sickness needs to prevail in order for them to continue to exist. When you look at the pharmaceutical industry, they deal in band-aids, not in cures.
Right.
So the band-aids need to always exist. So they need to always have things to band-aid, because if they could cure stuff, they would put themselves out of business. If the medical industry was truly healing people, they would put themselves out of business. If the military industrial complex used all of their stuff to create peace, well, then they would go out of business. And nobody wants that. When you look at all of these things, just like the media deals, or the news does not deal in information, it deals in propaganda.
Right.
Because that's what it is that gets people watching it and keeps them programmed to do what it is that they want to do.
Right.
So you have to look at all of these other things. Like if you could acknowledge these about these certain things, then you also have to acknowledge that history class kind of feeds into the news narrative, because they need to go together in order for one to give the other credibility. So if you can look at the news and say this is all propaganda and lies, like logic would stand that your history class is also propaganda and lies as well.
Absolutely.
Because what the news is reporting on is going to be history at some point, and those things need to match up throughout the whole entire timeline. So that just, I don't know, and it's just certain things. Like there's people talk about, I know this is kind of a different little tangent here, but people talk about things like with the Holocaust deniers and all of that shit. And like back in the day, I used to be like, them people was crazy. Like they have the same thing with the 9/11 truthers. I used to be like, those people are crazy too.
Right.
But then you find out more stuff, and it's like, oh, this is not what it is that they claimed it to be.
Right.
So what are the chances that this one period of time, if everything else has been misrepresented and been distorted into something else to push some sort of further and other agenda, what's the chances that this one period in time is what it said, and this is the only thing that's like that? Because you find out the stuff with like Pearl Harbor is not what it is that they said. The Nixon Watergate shit isn't what it is that they said. Fucking none of the old wars isn't what they said. Fucking Osama bin Laden's a CIA asset. Charles Manson is a CIA asset. They was fucking MK Ultraing people. Fucking Ronald Reagan and whoever he was working for was importing cocaine into the community to fund fucking wars in other countries for whatever stuff. And this is
that actually happened. These things happened, yo.
That's what I'm saying. This is real verifiable stuff that happened that they're telling you. So if this is what they're willing to tell you, imagine what they're not telling you. Imagine, like, you have to sit there and think, well, they told us there's aliens. Okay, cool. But you also have to extend that. And that means they're either lying to you now, or they've been lying to you for the past 50, 60 years. And the question is, if they're lying to you now, why are they lying to you now? And if they've been lying to you for the past 50 or 60 years, why are they telling you the truth now? That's all of this stuff is just, there's just lies everywhere. And it just seems very, very ignorant to believe that that anything is immune and or separate from that.
Yeah, like this, you know what gets me, man? Not even gets me, because I understand. But a person, like you said, one legacy media will this way and this media sway this way. why don't people understand or take that into account? Like, you know what? This, let's say Fox News, they veer off to this side. So I know that the propaganda that they're spreading, or whatever information they're spreading, I know it's going to be heavily favored in this on this side, right? Why is it like, oh well, this is because they said this about, they said this about Trump, so this has to be, well, that's because that's
It's
what that
true.
yeah, that's it has to be true. Well, that's what that side that's what that side said, or this side, or whatever they said about Biden or whatever. Why don't people take that into account? Like, well, considering the source, consider the source. All right, before you say this is true and that's not true. And when I say consider the source, consider the source's motive also. Because, like I said, if someone is going to volunteer information, there will be a motive. Understand the motive, understand the source, and you will understand a lot. You will understand, oh, maybe this is why this person is say that. Let me listen to what that person is say. Use my critical thinking and say, well, I know they're skewed. They're skewed. They have a skewed version of whatever they're going to say about this person because of. So, my question is, why do people not take this into account? That if you get your information from this source, it may be swayed one way or the other. First, find out what side this may say. And this could be anything. Like you said, the cigarette companies or the cereal companies. If you see a commercial, they're not gonna tell you the truth. They're gonna sway one way. Oh, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Make sure you get your fucking carbs for your energy. Like, they're gonna say that because they have shit to sell. They have a motive, right? Why don't people take that into account? I am seeing this information, and you're giving me this information, right or wrong. You're giving it to me for a reason. Now let me try to extrapolate what the reason is, and is there any truth to it, and what can I extract from the information? Why do people not take this into account?
I think that people are so heavily conditioned from the time that they're young that they don't ever get to a place where they can actually think outside the box, right? This is the problem, is that a lot of people go through life under the assumption that everything that you see on TV is true, everything written in a book is true, everything that you're told in school is true, and everything that's said from some sort of authority figure, be that a politician or a scientist
Teacher.
or some doctor that you never heard of, a teacher, is also factually true. And they go through their whole entire life believing this. So the people who still watch these news things watch Fox News under the belief that Fox News is the purveyor of truth. And the people who watch CNN under the belief that CNN is the purveyor of truth. Because, again, like we've talked about before, people have their left, their right, their Democrat, their Republican, their conservative, their liberal thing. And they're just so heavily invested in their side that they believe that anything that the other side says is not true. And because CNN is typically a liberal news source, the Fox people assume that everything on CNN is a lie. And because Fox is typically a conservative news source, the CNN people assume that everything on the Fox side is a lie because they've been conditioned, separate from all of these other things, to accept these certain sources as factual. They've been conditioned to believe that the other side is what's wrong with the country. They've been conditioned to believe that the Republicans are why they don't make more money. They've been conditioned to believe that the Democrats are why they don't have better jobs. They've been conditioned to believe that the problem is the opposing team, completely unaware of the fact that, again, you're being played against each other. And so that's why you kind of have a separation between, it's like people either believe everything on the news or believe nothing on the news. I don't really think there's a great in between with that, because once you start realizing it's lies, why would you watch it anymore and just, go along with what it is that they said? So what's interesting also to me too is that one side believes that the other side just sits there and fully lies, which is absolutely insane to think that your source is the one that's telling all of the truth and the other one isn't. But going back to too, what it is that we said before about the things that they focus on, this is mildly separate, but as a whole, I think that because every once in a while Fox and CNN agree on something, and that's the thing that you should be skeptical of. There is, why are they both now saying the same thing when they always say different things? So it's just a random side thought.
No, it's random, but it's not so random because it kind of ties in right to the question. But and I said this today. I said this to my wife. I don't fancy myself to be an educated person. I don't even project. I say I'm not educated. I'm not educated. I'm not. But I am wise and intelligent. Right. I think people get it confused. Is there a difference between being educated and intelligent? I say yes. Right? Because yeah, you might be better at fucking history than me. You know what I mean? Because you're well educated, and that's in some forms of life, or most forms of life, that's to be respected. And I respect it. I respect that. Right? You're an educated person, but that does not make you wise or intelligent. And I say that to say, because we started off this whole thing, with my opening sequences, emotions, and how do you deal with these emotions and experiences. And that has nothing to do with education whatsoever, right? Or what you read in a book or history book or what you seen on CNN or Fox News, or what you read in the New York Times and all this other shit, right? Just, yeah, you're educated, but educated at what, right? You're intelligent in what? You have no, that does not equate to wisdom or intelligence, right? And I only say that to say, if you are intelligent, you will look at certain things a different way. Like when you sent me the Tesla thing, I didn't look at it like an educated person. Well, I shouldn't be, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it and I used my own brain. Like, why are they, why? Why is this a thing? That's the first thing I thought. That's not what an educated person would think, but that's what I thought. Right? So my spill is, and I want to get your thoughts on it, what do you think is the difference between being educated, being intelligent, being wise? Is there a huge difference? What disparity, and if there is a difference in your opinion, where's the disparity? Is it large? Is it small? What do you think?
So if I had to categorize, I think that being educated is having ready access in your mind to a lot of information that you have been given from other people. Because, like, if you go on Jeopardy, you are considered traditionally educated. You know a whole bunch of random trivia facts, but that's just you knowing a bunch of random stuff. But all of that stuff is stuff that came from other people and other sources. Like, you have a vast knowledge of things that other people have done and or said. I think being intelligent is the ability to analyze situations, draw conclusions, and produce outcomes and affect change. Like, if you look at, you can get somebody who is an educated person who read all kinds of books on, say, strength and conditioning and diet, and is fat as fuck. He knows all of this information. Sure, he's educated in that aspect, but he's not intelligent because he's still a fat ass. And you could have somebody who knows nothing about the specific biomechanics of bench pressing and the thermogenic effect of the different type of macronutrients, but is strong and lean because they understand that they wanted to affect a change in themselves and figured out a process in which to get that done, and then were able to implement said process without the help of outside sources. I think that person is far more intelligent than the person who has read the entire library on strength and conditioning but has applied none of it. I think that wisdom is what you get from the assessment of situation. Like I think that wisdom and free thought kind of go hand in hand, because wisdom has to be knowledge that you have earned yourself. Like no one else can give you wisdom about stuff. They have to be your own conclusions and your own perspectives that you've drawn either from observation of someone else's scenarios or from going through your own and reflecting on and pulling stuff out of that. And that's where you come to these certain conclusions. Like I would say philosophers are wise. I would say business creators and bodybuilders and fighters and stuff like that are intelligent, and museum directors are educated.
Love the way you broke that. That's why I ask you certain things. Like I just, because I know the way you break shit down is just that's very yes. Please give yourself some fucking gunshot.
Gunshot.
I don't think anyone else could have broke that down the way you just did. And I won't harp on it, but it's would you and it's same type of thing, same vein of questioning. And I think I asked you this before. How would you look at let's say going to a doctor's office, right? You got an ailment, whatever it may be. It's an ailment you've never felt before, and you're like, let me go see what the hell this is about. And you walk into the doctor's office, and the doctor has all these degrees on the wall, and you're like, oh, okay, fairly educated, right? If that doctor walks in the office and he is overweight, what is that doc like? How do you look at that doctor? And do you listen to that doctor? Should you take advice from this doctor? Clearly they've read some books, but educated enough to read these books, take from the books, pass these tests, become an MD or whatever. I don't even know the terms, but not intelligent enough to use the information to. So, do you listen to this person? Do you walk out that office? How does Jason Lamar handle this situation?
So this is for some reason things along this general lines is a pretty like popular topic of questioning and or debate for people. It's like the thing with the fat personal trainer or the fat doctor or anything along those lines. And I think that I see a lot of people take the stance of, well, you can know something. You can know how to get in shape and not be in shape yourself. Sure. You can know how to be healthy and not be healthy yourself. Sure. But I'm a big believer that if you know exactly how to get in shape and aren't in shape, you're even stupider than the out of shape person who doesn't know how to get in shape. I believe if you know how to be healthy and you aren't healthy, then you're stupider than the person who doesn't know how to be healthy. And I am very, very opposed to taking any sort of advice or life lessons from stupid people. And you are clearly that. If you're fat on some level, you're stupid. If you're poor on some level, you're stupid. Like this is if you're a dope fiend on some level, you're stupid. This is not a result of intelligence. Intelligent people don't consume copious amounts of food and ignore the fact that their body is ballooning and continue to do it anyway. Intelligent people don't just sit around not having money, knowing good and goddamn well that they need money and playing video games instead of figuring out how to go make some money. Intelligent people don't fucking do heroin. Like this is because they're sad. That's insane. So, and only intelligent people should be giving advice. I take that back. Anyone can give advice. People should only be taking advice from intelligent people. So if you are taking advice from a stupid person, then you are a stupid person, because taking advice in some level is, I don't want to say subservient, but I can't think of a better word to describe it. But you're still putting yourself in a position that you're in some capacity underneath of this person in order for them to guide you, because that's what you have to do. You got to put your ego aside for a minute and be like, hey, you know a thing that I don't. You are better than me in X area. Please offer me your guidance. And if you're somebody who is going to turn to a stupid person to get guidance, then you too are a stupid person. So If you want to go to a fat personal trainer, that's fine. You're an idiot and you don't want to get in shape and you don't deserve to. And if you want to go to an unhealthy doctor, then that's fine. That's your choice. But you're an idiot and you're not going to be healthy and you don't deserve to, because this is it's the people who love to give advice who have never done the thing, like the people sitting there talking about yelling at quarterbacks but can barely walk up their own stairs. Like, what you have absolutely no business giving out this advice. I don't care if it's right. It doesn't matter if it's right. It doesn't matter if what you're saying is right. You're in no position to give it to me. If you're drunk, you're in no position to tell me how to get sober. You could be factually correct, sure, but you're morally wrong. Fuck off.
I agree. But then it's like, like you said, if you're right, you're right. If you're right, you're right. So I do have to maybe a little pushback. If guy might be 350 pounds, but if he's right, I do have to be like, all right, whatever he said may be right.
He might be right, absolutely. He might be, but he's in no position to be right. His rightness is watered down.
Yo.
This was, it's worse that he's right, because why are you right and still look like that? Why do you know how to make money but you're still poor? Right. What is wrong? It's worse that you know what you're talking about, dumbass.
Damn.
Go make some money. What do you mean? Why do you know how to do this and you're not doing it?
Damn.
That's worse.
That is worse.
That's insane. I'm not taking advice from insane people.
You're right. You're right. Again,
because at the end, there's some homeless man on the corner who could be yelling the most correct, who's yelling about the system and how evil it is and all of that whatnot, and he's correct.
Yeah.
But he's homeless and he's crazy. You should not be listening to this person. That should not be the person who swayed your worldview. It doesn't matter if he's right. He might be. He probably is. But it doesn't matter, because it's worse that you're right and in that position. That's worse. It would be better if you were wrong. If you're 350 pounds, you're telling me that the way to lose weight is to snort butter. That's better than you telling me that I need to eat less food, because why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
It's better that you're wrong.
It's better to be wrong if you're, I agree with that. I'm glad I'm throwing these things at you. Like I said, I got to test Yoda, man. Like out of these questions coming out of the blue. We don't rehearse this shit. I'm just curious.
No, I don't know any of these fucking questions. I don't know what the fuck we gonna talk about.
I want to know. I just be wanting to know, and I know there's only one person that can break it down, like, and kind of verbalize. Yes, only one person that can verbalize this shit the way I got it in my head, and that's Yoda, man.
That's how we rocking out here.
That's Yoda. One last thing, right? And we didn't get to dive in it. And you sent me something that it was a clip of Candace talking about she was talking about, like, and I don't want to misstep the words and shit. You could probably explain it better, but she was basically talking about a takedown of the internet or whatever the case may be, and them preparing to do so and preparing us through. Even with COVID, they prepared us for COVID before COVID hit.
Yeah, running their drills.
Yeah, they was running drills. People didn't realize it, and that kind of ties into the information. All this information, you don't get to see what they're really trying to throw at you, right? So, and they kind of slid that preparation for COVID. They kind of slid that in there, because I seen something that, like, they have to tell you. I don't know if that's true, but I seen something that said they have to tell you. They have to tell you what they're doing to make it I don't know. I got to do more research with that. But I seen a quote of saying that they have to tell you something before they do so. And they tell you, and they do tell you before they do it. Right. So I
saw, I'm familiar with the quote that you talk about. If you're talking about the thing that I saw, where it was, I saw somebody said, Satanists believe that they have to tell you what it is that they're doing because they believe that it's wrong to fool you.
Yes,
so if they tell you that an apple is poisoned and you eat the poisoned apple, what they did was perfectly fine.
Right.
But if they give you an apple and they tell you it's fine and you eat it and die, then they've done something wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So thank you. Yoda, there you go. So they have to tell you, or they feel like they have to tell you, because that makes it right. I told you. The fuck you I try to tell you, and you ain't take the bait, so fuck it. So whatever happens to you. Is it they right, bro? Whatever. But they do distract you with all this other shit. So what Candace is saying they're preparing us for something catastrophic again, right? And I'll let you explain what they're actually preparing us for. But it's basically like a fucking takedown of the internet or whatever the case may be. But you can explain a little better.
Yeah, so what it sounded like she was talking about, or what she was saying, is they were doing some sort of drill for, I believe, what they called it, a electric pandemic or
Yeah,
something along those lines.
yeah,
But she was
something like
talking about and basically what it looked like is that they were going to shut down the power grid so that they could remove a bunch of stuff from the internet, and that was the only way to prevent it from being fully shut down, which is absolutely wild to me. And I kind of see that as obviously, like, if society is, especially here in America, is thrust into darkness for several days, then all sorts of chaos is just going to ensue, especially if you don't live in some sort of nice neighborhood. Like, it's shit's just going to go crazy like that. And that's what happens during blackouts. That's what happens during fucking Hurricane Katrina and all of that stuff. Like, it's a disaster and people want to fuck each other's shit up and rob stuff. Like, that's insane. This is when people should be banding together. But again, everyone's so divided that that's not what happened. So it's that, and which I would assume my belief would be specifically for people to riot and go crazy in such ways, because obviously that's what's going to happen. And also for the ability to remove stuff from the internet of people that they are having problems with, such as like,
yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I saw some sort of hearing or whatever where they were talking about how people like Conor McGregor somehow, and because I know he's running for the president of Ireland, and obviously they don't want that because he opposes whatever it is that they're going through, and he also seems like a wild card person who's not controllable. So yeah, it's fucking nuts, but people love him.
Yeah, he's a maniac,
and he actually stands for something, which is obviously what it is that they don't want. But they were talking about how people like him and fucking Andrew Tate and whatnot shouldn't be allowed on the internet. So I think it's like that. They want to remove certain people and certain voices, or at the very least start some people's platforms back over from zero.
I thought that,
and redo the algorithms so they don't get found in such a way. So I would have to imagine that, like Candace Owens is going to lose her shit. Alex Jones is going to lose his shit. If we were bigger, we would.
Yeah, right, right.
Stuff like that. So I think it's to get rid of a lot of the dissenting voices.
That's the first thing I thought of. That's the first thing I thought of. Like, oh, they're probably trying to just press the reset button. Everybody got to start from scratch. Yep. Let's start this thing from scratch.
Yeah, let's see if we could get rid of these people and again retool the algorithms to keep certain people. Get rid of Joe Rogan, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But you got certain people, because certain people are going to search these people out, but certain people won't see it if it's not shown to them. Right. And maybe you make certain things harder to find algorithmically or whatever, because like we were talking about last episode, it seems like they've kind of lost control over the narrative. So like they went and bought Hot Ones and all of that. So they're trying to regain it, and maybe maybe this is their backup plan in case that doesn't gain the traction that they wanted to. Is like, well, we obviously can't sway people and we can't just murder all of these people, so let's just deplatform them, but not do so publicly, because I think publicly they saw what happened with the Tates when they tried to deplatform him and kind of backfired on them.
They got bigger.
Yeah, so they learned their lesson from that, so they want to just do it in a much more organic way where everyone loses their platform and people now have to rebuild. But
it's kind of it's counterproductive when they do shit like that. Like even with Kyrie, like the book he was reading.
Know what the book is.
Now it's like a bestseller or some shit. Like duh, like y'all drew all this attention to this shit, and now it's like, so yeah, I get that. And
see, I only know like what Kanye said because everyone freaked out about what Kanye said. I'm like, oh, let me go see what Kanye said. I'm like, oh, some of this makes a lot of sense.
Right. So if you don't
like, if y'all should have just ignored it, that would have been the best way to go. But for some reason, it seems like these people can't help themselves from doing it, and they just keep trying to be like, this is bad, this is bad. It never works. Like, just ignore it. At a certain point, you would have to think that's the best strategy.
It's almost like you do the opposite. This is bad. This is bad. You're gonna be like, is it? And if they say this is good, this is good. This is good. You got to be like, whoa, wait. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when they, and I don't mean to harp on the same shit, but when they was doing this vaccine shit, you got it. It was like, nah, man. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Into this.
I already knew. Like, all right, this is good. This is good. This is good. No. Something got to be wrong with it. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Is it so bad? Right? And people want to look into it, and that makes you think. It makes you think. If you just go off perception, it'd be like, well, Elon and Trump and these guys are, and Junior, these guys are, but they won the election. It's kind of like people. There's people that think like them. So you know what I mean? Like, but if you go off perception, it's like, oh, I don't know, it's wrong. These people are wrong. But it's like, damn, but they won though. So there has to be people that think like them.
That's the thing, is all of these people get listened to like that. They want to paint it like these are just fringe, off the wall, niche people who nobody really thinks this way. But when you really look into it, it's the majority of people kind of lean to one sort of direction and fall in line with one sort of way of thinking more so than anything else. Because if nothing else, it winds up being more moderate. But what you said made me think, right? Like if they really want to get rid of certain people, then you had like take Candace Owens, for example, right? All these people want to sit there and say that she's Hitler and she's evil and all of this stuff. But if the same people would think about it and just say, if we all of a sudden embrace her and start championing her, then the same people who follow her will now think that she's sold out in some capacity and turn away from it. Because like we even said last time, she seems to be an independent voice in stuff, but that's perception wise. But if all of the mainstream media people started embracing her, then that would change. But the problem is they don't seem to understand how it is that they themselves are perceived.
Right.
And if they did that, then they would know maybe the best way to get rid of these people or to depower these people is to embrace these people. What if they started embracing Kanye, or they started embracing Candace or the Tates or even Trump? Like a lot of people whose belief in him solely goes based off of the fact that everyone is so against him. So
let's not give him no ideas, man. Happens. Let's not give him no ideas.
I mean, yeah, that's fact.
Let's not start that, because that's a great idea.
All of a sudden, you would start seeing the news and stuff, just sitting here loving these people.
Yeah, like, or at the
taking credit if that's what happens.
That's a fact. At the very least, ignore, like, you don't want to give credence to something, so you ignore it. At the very least, right? But like you said, if they would embrace it, we would look at it. We would look at it differently. Like, oh,
you
man.
Look at. I would look at it sideways. I mean, now that we've said this, I might think this. But at first, I would have like looked at it sideways, like, huh? Because you skeptical. I don't believe anything they say on the fucking TV. So the fucking TV starts saying these people are right. I'm gonna start thinking, are they?
Right.
Now I don't think they are.
So,
like, I saw people talking about, I used to believe in aliens until the government said they were real, and like,
that's a fact.
I think that's a great representation of stuff, because I think the same thing. It's like once they start talking about this, then all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know no more.
Yeah,
no. I don't think this is real.
Yeah, especially
like I'd believe a bunch of random podcasters talking about the coronavirus more so than I would the fucking news talking about it.
Absolutely. And that statement right there, people will think you a fucking nut by saying something like that. But no, I do not trust. First of all, I don't trust, I won't say anybody. I don't trust many people, but I definitely don't trust those people. And I say those, when I say those, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't.
It is those people. We've been speaking about those people for a few episodes now. Put it together.
Put it together. And look, we're gonna do a Patreon. We're gonna start doing some lives, and we're gonna discuss who those people may or may not be, or might be, or could be. Right? We got to start piecing this shit together, because it's like at some point they and those and who, at some point, like, we got to start answering these questions, or
they need names.
Yeah, we got to start naming names or formulating some type of, all right, who may this be? Who are we talking about?
Yep.
Right? And that's where a lot of this conspiracy shit comes into play, because you can't put a face or name or corporation.
Yeah, as long as you're sitting there talking about a nebulous idea, right, then they could still hide under. This is a conspiracy theory.
Right, absolutely. When you can't just sit there and point the finger, it's that guy. It's that guy.
Yeah, it's fucking Brad. Brad's doing this.
Brad Gates. Oh, did I say that? You know what I mean.
Let's just go with a more neutral name, like fucking the Todd Clinton.
Come on, man. I mean, come on. Sooner or later.
We just making up names. Barack Roberts.
Goldstein. Just put Goldstein or Rothstein or just put a Steen. And, all right, cut that out. Don't do that.
Nah, so this.
No, I'm fucking with
you. Yeah,
nah, fuck it. Nah, it's true though.
Nah, you know, fuck it. Nah, we rocking.
It's true though. I mean,
this is where we at.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, it's satirical, but still at the same point, there is some truth to. It could be some truth, but like I said, we will be going live and doing Patreon.
Yeah, we go do some lives. We go do the Patreon where we're not going to sit here and just dance around shit no more.
At least we're gonna option up and say what we think. At least this is what we think. We ain't saying
we out here sharing our opinions, and I'm sitting here saying anyone's doing something. This is just how things appear to us.
You could ride with it or not, right? You could ride with it or not. But we started off this show by saying emotions, right? Either it's how you react off these emotions, how you react off these experiences and tribulations and all this other stuff. So when you hear this stuff, even us, when you hear us speak, you don't fly off the handle right away. Oh my God, he said this word and he's wrong or he's right. He said fat. He said this. He said gay. He said, you're just flying off the handle because the emotions, right? Learn to critically think. Hear what you're being told. Think about it, and then make an assumption off of that, right? Because ultimately, that's how you will be judged as a human being. That's how I'm going to judge you. Mm-hmm. Not off of your experiences or how you perceive those things and how you learn from those things. So observe from what you're seeing and hearing, and then making a reaction and an assumption off of that, right? And that is the game within the game. That is our ultimate goal. Me and Jay always we like, yo, what's our goal? What's the end goal? And it's like, everybody's not going to wake up. We don't even want all the sheep to wake up. Where's that leave?
That'd be chaos.
Yeah, like where's that leave us, right? Where's that leaves the wolves? I don't want all the sheep to wake up, but a couple of wolves that's been forced to put on sheep's clothing, maybe, right? Maybe we can get you to wake up like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm supposed to be doing this, right? So that's what the game within the game is. Waking up our fellow wolves that's been kind of beat to submission and forced to be a sheep, and now we're just breaking them up. That's what the Matrix is about. I'm Morpheus. We got Neo here. We waking y'all up. Waking y'all up.
That's the goal here, man. You don't gotta agree with us, but if you don't agree, you should know why you don't agree. And because you heard something different, or the TV said so, or this person said so, is not a real reason. You should know why it is you don't agree. Again, you don't have to. That's all well and fucking fine. But if you don't, you should know why. And most people don't. They just hear their little buzzwords and they refer to, well, this person said this and this person said that. That's not a reason for anything. And that type of thinking and that type of mindset and that way of looking at the world is always what it is going to keep you stuck. And you're going to forever be a sheep running around, susceptible to the narratives of whatever the shepherds are telling you in whatever direction it is that they are pointing you to go. They said it was safe over there, so we're going over there. They said not to go over there, so we don't go over there. They said not to be around you, so we don't be around you. It's like the village. You're going to be staying out of the forest forever and have no fucking idea what's in there for real. Just what it is that those people told you, who those other people told you were reliable sources, but you don't know what gave them the right to tell you that to begin with.
And look, and I'm going to ask Yoda this. Yoda will tell you himself. Yoda, when was the last time you were incorrect? When do we do that? When?
Yeah, this was early 90s.
Come on, man.
It's been a minute, man.
Come on, man. He can't. He don't even remember what happened. He just 90s.
I just assumed because I wasn't grown and kids say dumb shit.
So he had to be wrong at some point.
Statistically.
Stop debating the truth. Stop debating the truth.
The truth does not care how you feel.
Ooh, put a gunshot to that, please. The truth does not care how you feel.
Not even a little bit.
We're gonna leave you with that.
Yeah, that's our final note. We got truth don't give a fuck about your feelings, friends.